Well, welcome. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit and give you a short introduction to a new series that I'm going to be doing. Still, we're going to be doing the reviews and comparisons, unboxings, all that stuff. But something I've been wanting to do for quite a while is an ongoing series about the ukulele and how to improve. Many times people want to know what it is that I do or what it is they should do when they practice. Thus, the name Practice Makes Perfect. That really came from the last 15 months or so of me teaching my granddaughter how to play the ukulele. We kind of got to the point where I could tell she was struggling a little bit. So we had a discussion, and I said, "Do you want to keep playing?" And she said, "I don't like to practice." That's a problem because you are not going to improve as a musician with any instrument unless you practice. So, one of the sayings I use with her is practice makes perfect. The other one, which you'll hear from me, is you have to walk before you can run. So, what are we going to do, and who is this for? Well, remember when you were in school, or maybe you still are, you maybe were going to write a report, and there were 6 questions that you had to ask and answer in that report: where, when, who, what, why, and how. Well, let's look at those just for a second. Where? Where do you practice? You practice wherever you're comfortable. It should be somewhere where you can focus. But wherever you're comfortable, this is where I practice. This is my cave. It's known as the cave in our home, where I spend most of my time. You can't see the wall behind the camera, but there's like 10 instruments on the wall. So I'm down here playing guitar or ukulele. So where, when? Now, again, whenever is convenient for you, depending on your schedule with school or work or family. Personally, for me, it's any time after noon as a rule. Who? Where, when, who? You, me. What, why, and how? Well, why is because you want to improve as a musician. What are you going to do with the ukulele? Are you going to be in a group? Are you going to go to jams? Are you going to play with others in a group? Or do you just enjoy the instrument? That's really up to you. Now, for me, and the way that I'm going to structure this series is I approach the ukulele a little different than I did guitar or bass, because I was in groups leading worship with the guitar and obviously backing up the worship leader with bass. So I was interacting, going to practices, learning songs. With the ukulele, I am either playing at home or I'm going to jam. So my reason, the why, was so that when I go to a jam, there's zero anxiety. Because when you go to a jam, they give you sheets of paper and you play songs. So I don't have to worry about the song or the chords in the song because I'm proficient at playing the instrument. Not nearly as proficient as I want to be. You always grow as a musician. I've been playing a little over 7 years now, and I have eons to learn. I like that. I'm like the proverbial student. I like to learn. I like to grow. I like to be challenged. So where, when, who, what we'll talk about. The why is really up to you. But for me in this, we're going to be learning chords, techniques. I'm not going to teach you how to do Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. But you will grow no matter what your level, beginner, intermediate, advanced. Sure, we're going to start out with basic things, but when I look at videos, I'm always looking for that little nugget. Maybe I know 90% of it already, but what's that little thing I might learn from that video that I can add to my playing? So if you're a beginner, if you just bought your uke yesterday, you're in the perfect place. Intermediate, you're going to learn. Advanced, you're going to learn. You'll learn less than the beginner or the intermediate, but you'll learn something. Because I'm going to teach you, we're going to start out on our next video, Practice Makes Perfect #1. Each video is going to be, initially, the first 7 will be about chords. A chords, B, C, D, E, and F. And in those videos, we're going to learn how to do an A chord, an A seventh, an A dominant seventh, we'll call it A seventh, an A minor seventh. But in those videos, we're going to learn how to properly finger chords, how to properly strum when we learn chords, and we are going to learn alternate fingerings so that you can strengthen your hand, form calluses, and have the ability to use different fingerings with those chords. And why? Why do I want to play a G7 different than most people do? Why do I want to play an A7 in 3 different positions? Which means I'm going to be finger it 3 different ways. So initially we'll be doing chords, then we're going to go into, and during that, by the way, we're going to learn bar chords and yes, the E chord. And we are not going to skirt our way around the E chord. God, please stop with the posts about what other chord can I play but an E? Because it's difficult. Sometimes instruments are difficult. The E chord is not an easy chord. You're going to learn how to play it. You're going to learn how to play it 2 different ways. And you don't really use it honestly, in all the chords that I play, and songs I play, and exercises I play, I don't play the E chord very often, but when I do, I know how to do it. So we're going to do that. So anyway, we're going to learn finger picking. We're going to learn strumming. We're going to learn exercises. We're going to learn sliding. We're going to learn hammer-ons. We're going to learn pull-offs, bending, all those things. We're going to play a little blues. We're going to do a little jazz. But you have to walk before you can run. So our next video will be our first video, really. This is an introduction. And it will be about the A chord. My goal in the next 7 videos is to keep them much shorter than this one is. Something that you can go to, spend a few minutes, and then you can practice before the next one comes out. Notice the P word. You're going to have to practice. I pretty much practice every day. In that practicing, I am making sure that I don't strain my hand, hurt my hand, injure myself, which I've done in the past. I want to form calluses. I want to strengthen my hands and the tendons in my hands. And I want to make sure to take plenty of breaks when I practice. So when you practice, and yes, practice makes perfect, you'll practice for a short period of time, 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. Put the uke down, even though you want to keep playing. Rest your hand, pick it up again. And we will talk about all of this ad nauseum in this series. I hope you enjoy it. I hope most of all that you grow as a musician and as an ukulele player. That is the thing that I want most of all. And I hope that happens for you. And I hope it continues to happen for me. So, next lesson, practice makes perfect, number 1, A chords.